As Nick said, my name is Mark Smesrud. I live in Denver, Colorado, and I helped start the project Pickled Coffee. How did I get there? So just to give you kind of a rundown, I'm originally from Minot, North Dakota. I came here in 2006, majored in biblical studies. My degree's in biblical studies, emphasis in youth ministry. I was involved in way too much while I was here. I was in campus ministry, choir, RA, student government. I was a student assistant coach for the volleyball team. I just did a lot on campus, and that's so I didn't have quite as much debt. But it was so good. It was a really great experience for me. After I graduated, I went and did half a master's at ACU, and then I quit. But it was too quick to move to do this. I was also working on as a youth minister in Dallas. And so then I moved to Denver to start this project. So that's kind of a quick snapshot of my story, how I got to where I'm at. But Frederick Buechner once said, "Listen to your life. See it for the fathomless mystery that it is. In the boredom and the pain of it, no less than the excitement and gladness. Touch, taste, smell your way to the holy and hidden part of it. Because in the last analysis, all moments are key moments, and life itself is grace." So, we employ formerly homeless teens and young adults. Running a small business is difficult enough. Now, take employees that have never worked before, and it's very challenging. One quick story, the guy that you saw in the video, his name is Mike. He's 6'8", so his name when he was on the streets was Tower. So when he started working for us, he was 25 years old. He had spent 7 years in prison at that time. His entire adult life was spent in prison, with little 2-month stints out here and there, and those 2 months were on the streets. And so he was very connected to street life just because there's a deep connection between street life and prison life. So Mike didn't have the best coping skills when he started working for us. And if you guys have ever worked in a coffee shop, sometimes you can see the customers are kind of difficult. So there's one day somebody ordered a chai, just regular old chai. He made it, put it on the bar, and said, here's your chai, and they were like, "Ooh, is it too late to get it iced?" And of course it is, it's 150 degrees, you know. It's a little too late to get it iced. But most of the time, you know, a barista will be like, "Oh, I'll remake it for you, no big deal." Mike did not do that. There was a lot of language that shouldn't have been spoken to a customer, and that customer was thankfully very gracious. He knew our mission. We were able to talk to him. But we look at Mike a year later when he graduated our program. We had a graduation party for him. And we had to tell him to stop inviting customers because we can't afford to feed that many people. He had 50 people come to his party. 30 of them were just customers that he connected with and made relationship with. And the cool thing about it is that the most common assessment of Mike was how good he was at meeting their needs. And it just showed the power of transformation. So I'll come back to Mike's story in just a second. I know it's not Christmas time, but one of my favorite songs is "Oh Holy Night." I think the lyrics are deeply profound, and they present the gospel in such a true and real way. And one of the key lines that I love is, "Long lay the world in sin and error pining, till he appeared and the soul felt its worth. A thrill of hope, the weary world rejoices, for yonder breaks a new and glorious morn." So with Mike, I can actually kind of trace it to a key moment where I saw a distinct change in his life. And it was after a time where, I'll actually share the story that prompted this at Devo tonight, I'll share it. But there was a blow up, and I sat down with him and got to say, "Mike, why did you respond the way you did?" And he said, "Well, she told me I was wrong." and it just made him so angry. And I said, why does that bother you so much? Well, he said, if I'm wrong, I'm not worth anything. And at that point in time, I got to say, Mike, that is a lie. That is a lie. You have so much worth and value. And in fact, when we tell you you're wrong in this program, it's because of your worth and value. Because we see who you can be. And so we have conversations with you. We correct those things that are not healthy and not good in your life because we see the life that you deserve and that you're capable of living. And he paused, and he said, no one has ever told me anything like that before. And from that point on, we could begin sending those messages of value by challenging him. Rather than only telling him, oh, you're worth it, you're worth it, you're worth it, we just say, hey, Mike, stop doing that, you're better than that. And we saw this distinct change. Everything that we do at Purple Door is built on the foundation that every human life has value. And that comes from two key truths in Scripture. One, that we are all made in the image of God. And the second is that Jesus Christ declared every human life to have insurmountable, insurpassable worth. There's nothing we can do to change the worth that is communicated by the life of Jesus Christ. And so that's what we try to communicate. And so again, how did I get to Purple Door? How did I get to have that conversation with Mike? Well, in the preparation process of getting Purple Door started, I met with someone and told him about the vision. I was really talking about how much we were going to achieve, and he just stopped me and he said, Mark, I feel like I'm supposed to tell you something. Your worth and your value is not tied up in the success of this project. You're valuable because of who Jesus is and what he's done in your life. And if you live into that, you're going to be successful. In that moment, my soul felt its worth. And so, going back even further, when I was deciding whether or not I was even going to go to Denver to start Purple Door, I had a conversation with my then boss at the church I was working at. And again, it was a similar story. Mark, you're being faithful here. If you pursue this project, you're going to be faithful. And no matter what, you're valuable. And it takes the load off of whether or not I'm going to make the right decision or not, and move to do this big, huge thing, or stay where I'm at. Because both are good, and God is present in both. And my worth and value is not tied up in that decision. And in that conversation, my soul felt its worth. Coming back to here, in this place, my senior year, I had the typical senior existential crisis. Who's had that? Anybody? Not knowing what you're supposed to do. If you haven't, you will, and it'll be okay. But what happened is I was having interviews with this church, and they had contacted me. It was going really well. They planned to fly me up to do an in-person interview. And then 3 days before I was supposed to fly up, I get a phone call. Oh, we hired someone else. This was in March. I'm like, all right, graduate in 2 months, and I have no leads now. And actually, I was in Mrs. Lonas's ancient history class. She may not even remember telling me this. And I just was kind of having a crisis. I'm like, I have no idea what I'm supposed to do. And she said, Mark, all you're supposed to do is have a heart that wants to do what God has for this world. And you're going to end up exactly where you're supposed to be. And it's such a freeing thing. And my soul felt its worth. Going back, my sophomore year, I didn't apply for campus ministries. A bunch of people were giving me grief about it, but Tim Lewis sought me out and he said, Mark, it doesn't matter that you didn't apply for campus ministries. You're doing ministry. You're a valuable person to have on this campus. Just do what you're doing. My soul felt its worth. I could share about a dozen other stories like that, maybe more, of times where my soul felt its worth. From professors here, from different teachers and coaches and things that just help me feel the worth that is native to who I am because of how God has made me. And it shaped the trajectory of my life. All those times where my soul felt its worth has made it possible for me to have conversations with my employees to communicate to them that their soul has worth. and that they can then feel their worth. So this place really did shape me. And I mentioned I did all these activities, and they were really important and good. But the key that I left with when I left York College was not, oh, I have all these things that look good on graduate school applications. What I left is that my identity is found in Christ alone. That I am valuable simply because of how God has made me. And that because of that, I have not only the ability, but also the responsibility to love those around me and help them see and feel their worth and capture their true identity. And that has informed the way I live my life. And for me, my internship, I did an internship at Dry Bones Denver when I was in college, and that's what connected me to this work at Purple Door. For me, it's so important to care about those that are on the edges of our society. Because I think they're the ones that are frequently told that their soul does not have worth. So many of my friends downtown in Denver have never been told that they matter. And I get that opportunity every single day to tell my employees that they matter, that they're deserving of a good and beautiful and healthy life because of what Jesus has said about them. And so, I have that Meekner quote, and I think it's relevant to your shaping and your time here at York. He said, listen to your life. See it for the fathomless mystery that it is, in the boredom and the pain of it, no less than the excitement and gladness. Touch, taste, smell your way to the holy and hidden heart of it, because in the last analysis, all moments are key moments, and life itself is grace. All moments are key moments. This moment right now is key. Your moment in your class that you're about to go to is key. It's whether you're going to recognize those key moments along the way, those conversations that Tim Lewis recognized when I didn't apply, that was a key moment that he could address me and communicate worth and value to me. That Mrs. Lonas saw, oh, Mark's discouraged right now. This is a key moment where I can speak value and worth into his life. So these moments that you're experiencing right now on this campus are key. Pay attention to them. You never know the mystery of how they're going to work out. So many of the connections and friendships you'll make here will shape you for the rest of your life. But you have to pay attention to them. You have to be here, present, alive, living life. And so, if you choose to recognize that each of your moments here and beyond are key, you're going to live a life of meaning and worth and dignity and value. You can embrace those truths in your life. But it doesn't happen by accident. You don't just come across those things. We have to pay attention to what's going on around us. And if we do, God has some incredible things for our lives. I couldn't imagine doing what I'm doing when I was here at York. But I look back at those key moments along the way, and it all fits. It all makes sense. So make the most of your opportunity here. Build relationships with people that you're sitting next to, as well as your professors, the staff here on campus, because there are people that deeply care about you. They deeply care about the story of God in your life. And the story of God is one that is exciting to be a part of. And it's something that I'm so glad. For me, a huge part of my story was here. And I was shaped deeply. So that's what I have for you today, is to take the key moments of your life. Pay attention. And allow them to shape you for the future. Thank you.